everyone, and welcome to Watch Parties here at CCC. I'm so excited that you're here pursuing Jesus with us. This summer, our Watch Parties are so exciting. We have tons of special friends and guests joining us just on different topics that we're going to talk about this summer. And today I have Michelle Rennie here with us. We all know and love Michelle. And so, Michelle, how are you doing?
I am good. It's a lovely evening out here. No rain. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I apologize. I don't know what's going to happen behind me. I just always have to throw that out there. I don't know what's going on back there.
That's okay. That means there's life in your home, and that's a good thing, right?
Yes, there's a lot.
So today we are going to be chatting about opening up your home. I know for me personally, me and Elijah, like you and Mark were one of the first people to like have us over when we first moved here and became part of the church. And I know you guys are just really passionate about opening up your home to other people. So can you just like explain your journey with that? Like what led you to be people who really open up your home?
Well, I don't know. It was kind of the way I grew up, to be honest. Like I grew up in an Italian family that adopted everybody, that there were aunts and uncles that actually, when I found out when I was older, were not actually related to, but we called them aunt and uncle. And there was Sunday dinner. There was people at my house. I grew up at my house. My mom, we always had people over. We were never really told no. Like you could always have friends over. It just was a way of life. You didn't have to call before you came over. You barely even knocked when you walked in, and it just was the way it was. So I think when I found out that was when I became a Christian at 17, I found out hospitality was like a biblical thing. I'm like, it's an Italian thing. Like, it's just something it's just something you do. Like, it's not, it's not an effort. I saw my mom and my aunt and my grandmother were great examples of, we're not fancy people. We weren't rich people, but whatever they had, they offered, like you come over for coffee, you get coffee and cake. When you come over around lunchtime, they're going to fry up eggplant. They're just, it was just something that whatever they had, they presented. I mean, there were always people at the holidays that we weren't related to. It was just something I grew up seeing. So to me, it was not a conscious choice. It was just the way it was. It was just, now Mark grew up very different. He grew up where he always wanted people to come over and his mom didn't. And so it was something that he wanted. He wanted our home to be like that. I think sometimes it's probably a little crazier than he would prefer, but it is the way he always wanted that for himself. So he's happy that he has it for our kids.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I think like we got married very young, and we didn't have any jobs and any money, and anything we have accumulated over the last 25 years, because we married 25 years now, we don't look it as ours. It was all given to us by God. We tell the kids, we literally swim in the blessings of God. We don't deserve what we have. And so when we bought this house, I can't believe we bought this house at 25 and 27, we had no money. I can't believe they let us buy a house. We just said, this is all for the Lord. This isn't even really our house. So however God wants to use it, he's going to use it. And I always prayed that people come here would experience Jesus and believe it or not, that they'd live long life. Anybody who comes to my house would experience long life and health. I don't know why. And that they would find Jesus. Those were the two things that I always prayed about when we came in. So I think I had a text message just come up. Did you see that? Sorry, my bad.
No. You're fine. This is real life, right? What have you noticed like change personally in you, or maybe in Mark even, or even your kids, like your whole family structure with having that kind of concept of keeping your home open to other people, like allowing them to experience Jesus? Like has anything changed in your family doing that?
Yeah, I think opening up, I think it's been a family thing too. Like the boys it was never a question. You can have people over, I think especially for, Matthew, when he was little, I swear he invited everybody and their grandma over. And I'm like, who are these kids? Where are you finding them? And why are they at my house? I think they grew up kind of saying, come to my house. And I think they didn't realize that wasn't how it was for everybody until they got older. And it just became, and not just opening up our home, but we've never lived in this house, just Mark and I.
Wow.
We've always had we had college students live with us from day one when we moved in. And then we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people live with us over the course of our time here. Like it's not just like opening up our home, but inviting people to live with you. And that's a little scary because they're going to see like, okay, is she the real deal? And I'm crazy at church and I'm crazy at work and I'm just who I am, So you were like, I hope they don't come in thinking like we pray 24/7 and, we're real people and we struggle and, but so we've, it's not just opening up our home, but inviting people to live with us. And that we had Mark's sister live with us when his parents both died. We had to raise a 16-year-old girl. Wow. And I think after that, that was really hard. I didn't want to do that. But I did it because I love Jesus and that big guy inside. But, after that, anybody we've ever had live with us, it was a family decision. The boys had to agree to it because it affected all of us, not just me and Mark, but yeah.
No, I love that concept of like having the kids involved. If you're going to have them involved in opening up your home when you are inviting someone in, I mean, that's a really vulnerable place to be. Having someone come in and live with you and see the day in and day out and see the relationships between you and your husband and you and your kids. So I love that you like make it a family decision throughout the whole process. I think that's really great.
Yeah. I think it had to be because otherwise they could resent that. And I don't, they are my favorite people. I mean, I love all people, but they're my favorite. So I want to make sure that they're good. If they're good, then I've done my job, and then they along bring people that need a home and need love and need, a family. And they certainly have had friends that have come from really bad homes and just to come over and feed them and have them sitting around a campfire with us and just tell their stories. And, some of them gotten saved and some of them haven't, but I know they will never forget, they know where to go if they need a home. So,
yeah.
No,
I think that's amazing. With inviting people in to like live with you, were there any like challenges that came up through that and like any kind of like boundary situations you had to set up? Like, how did you navigate those challenges that would come up with the family and with that person that's living with you?
Yeah. I mean, so I think particularly with Mark's sister, I didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to do it. With everybody else, it was like, okay, it was a choice. With her, it was, we had to do it kind of thing. And that was really hard. God had to work with that. But anytime we've had somebody live with us, we want them to feel like this is their home, not that they're guests in our home, but that it is their home. And we're just honest about like, hey, we're, I think as the guys have gotten older is, hey, we're having a date night. Y'all got to go. Like, you can't be here. Yeah. I think actually Elijah ran into Matt at Walmart one night. He was upset because we kicked him. We were like, you have to go. Like, we're having a date night. Get out. Like, leave us alone. But no, I think people are very, the people we've had live with us are really respectful. And, there hasn't been anybody that you were like, man, they're not giving us their bound. I think they just kind of ebb and flow with the house. They get it. The kids go, they're like, okay, they're having a date night. I'm going to go somewhere else. Or, and there are times when we have said, hey, tonight it's just the family, we're going to lock it down. Some days dinners, people are invited to come, but some Sunday dinners, it's just the tribe, and because we want them to feel special too. And that we love them, as much and want to pour into them. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's like realistic that there are different challenges that arise with opening up your home in any kind of situation. I mean, I know some of my friends who are married and they don't like hang out with anyone at their home because your home is a very private place. It's like your sanctuary. But I think, what we see in the Bible, especially in Acts, that New Testament church mindset is like church happens in homes. And so I think there is a call, especially with what God's doing here at CCC, is for people to keep their homes open and people to share that level of vulnerability and almost intimacy with other people, with strangers, so they can get to know Jesus and experience him and encounter him in deeper ways. So
They
I
may not come to church, they may not come to church when you invite them, but if you invite them over for dinner, they're going to come,
yeah.
and that's really where it's at. We need to go to where people are at. And I think sometimes people are afraid to open up their home because they might think, you have to be fancy or you have to display and be a great cook. And I mean, sometimes we order pizza and wings. Like, it's not about that. It's not about what you serve. It's not about, you know, being the greatest hostess. It's about welcoming people into your heart as well as your home. You can invite people over and hate that they're there, or you can invite people over and love that they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What would you say are like some practical tips for people who might want to step out and start doing like the things that you guys have done, like inviting people to live with them, or even just opening up their home for dinners or game nights or something like that? What are some practical ways they can do that? Like, how would they invite people? Like, what would that look like?
Start small. I mean, if it's not something that you are used to doing, then it's scary and you're also intimidated to invite people over. So start with like coffee, invite them over for coffee, and, or play to your strengths. Like, if you have a lovely outdoor area, invite people over for a campfire, or if you're hosting, your kids, especially the guys, will watch a lot of sports games. So invite them over for that. It's a limited time. Like, that the event is they're watching something, the Super Bowl, or, the playoffs tonight are starting for the NBA, and, things like that. Like, incorporate people into what you're already doing. And it'll be natural. It'll be more natural. Play to your strengths. Like, you don't have to have a meal. You don't have to, offer coffee, offer a glass of wine, do something like that. Just offer whatever little you have. It doesn't have to be anything big, and start small. Maybe you do it once a month and be intentional. Like, you have to be intentional when you do it. And to be honest, we don't get invited a whole lot of places, but that doesn't stop me from inviting people to my house.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm okay with that. As long as they want to come to my house, I don't have to go to theirs.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really a good point, is like, I think we wait for an invitation.
Right.
And I think Jesus calls us to just go out and invite. Like, stop waiting for an invitation, work with what you got, start small, be yourselves, don't try to be anybody else. And hopefully people can encounter Jesus through you and in your home.
Yeah. Yep.
Love it.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, this is the point of the video where we go to our discussion. So we will see you back right after this.
Bye.
Hey, welcome back from discussion. I hope you guys had some really great discussion just about opening up your home, maybe what's preventing you from doing that. I'm so happy that we had Michelle joining us, and we will hopefully see you next week at another watch party and hopefully on Sunday as well.